up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, what's up, daylight burners? We're headed north of the border once again. My buddy Sampson, Sam Squanch over there, master hat maker. I like that stash, dude. The stash is coming in real nice.
Thank you.
Are there any Canadians that are unable to grow a beard, or is that kind of a requirement?
No, it's pretty much a rite of passage. Yeah,
kind of
even the women up here, it's nuts.
Yeah. You got to take the good with the bad, right? Though.
Yeah, right. It keeps you warm. You got pros and cons, right?
I'm far too Mexican to ever be Canadian. Like I got a hellacious stash and the goatee goes pretty good, but like the rest of it doesn't really connect very well. There's patches.
Yeah, I'm missing the patch, right? Like I got like a reverse Hitler going on. There's nothing grows right in the middle here.
I almost had that when I had chicken pox. I never got chicken pox till I was a senior in high school.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my nephew who was like, I don't know, 3 at the time got it, and yeah, so I had to stay home from school for 2 weeks, and it really wasn't bad. Like it didn't itch that much. I just couldn't go to school, and the only scar I got from it was right here, like right in a little indention on that middle part of your upper lip.
Yeah,
like right there is the only scar that I had, and luckily the rest of my stash is long enough to cover it. So
you look officially Mexican.
Yeah, definitely.
Checks out.
Yeah. I'll pass that Mexican test just about every time until they ask me to speak Spanish. I'm good.
So then it's bueno en cerveza, and that's about it. Taco.
Tacos, am I right, amigo? And they're like,
tacos,
fucking tacos. Yeah. We're pretty easy to
hell yeah.
We're
that's
easy to sway,
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's the taco situation up in Canada? Is there's some good places, or is it pretty sparse?
Seldom. I'm pretty lucky where I'm at. So I'm just east of Pincher Creek, which is like right in the corner of Alberta, BC, and Montana. Mm-hmm. And there's this little joint about 20 minutes to the south of me in Twin Butte, Alberta. And it's just the general store there, Mexican restaurant run by Jenny and Phil. Just a little shout out. And they run the best Mexican food restaurant around, hands down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I've had real Mexican food, and it's like next to it. It's awesome.
Nice. That's good. That's good. Good Mexican food is it's kind of essential. That's one thing I think that has done more to blunt racism than anything is food. Because like when you talk about like you want to go to like a black person's barbecue and then talk shit on food there, like get the fuck out. You ain't talking shit on that food. Like that's right. And you go to a quinceañera, you ain't talking shit on that food. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Exactly. You ain't talking shit on that food. No, you. No. It's I think that's done more to help racism than anything. Is just the more people experience different types of poor people food, the better off. They're like, oh,
totally. And it's hard to be pissed off eating Mexican food.
It really is. Like they, you just kind of got to have I mean, they always have some sort of music going on at, especially like the good Mexican restaurants. That like, it's whatever Mexican pop station is on the radio. Like that's playing in the background. And
I've found that there's one way to figure a real authentic Mexican restaurant is that if you got to look around at the corners, and like any kind of fireplace mantle or whatever. But if there is no statues, like religious statues of like little Jesus, you know, like a baby Jesus, anywhere, that place is fake. They're throwing, they're giving you the runaround. Yeah. Any real Mexican restaurant has got to have the little baby Jesus statue somewhere. In there, little Virgin Mary or something,
or a crucifix somewhere. And and also if they have an ice cream scoop and they're not serving ice cream, like run. That place is trash. If they're serving their beans with an ice cream scoop,
that's sketchy. Nope. Yeah, these are the questions you gotta ask.
Yeah, like you should still have not a lot of full, you know, untouched beans in your refried beans, but you should have some, like
absolutely,
like a solid 2 to 3% of your bean portion should be full pinto beans.
Well, that's generous, but yeah, I'll give it that.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't. I mean, I guess technology has moved a lot. You know, like you get like one of those immersion blenders. You can fuck some shit up with that. You ain't getting any badass if you use one of those. But
like
typically, yeah, the old school Mexicans, they ain't using those. They're still mashing them, and you're gonna get some full beans in there, and that's how you know. Yeah, that's how you know it's gonna be a good restaurant. Like,
dang right.
Write these things down, fellas. This is essential, especially if you don't live
notes.
Especially if you don't live in a place where there's, you know, good Mexican food just on every corner, like kind of where I grew up, where I live now. It's not hard to get good Mexican food, but there are places in the world where Sampson will tell you Canada is not known for their good tacos.
No, but there's a pretty good taco now and then.
There you go. How's the poutine in your neck of the woods though?
Okay, so that's funny too. So everybody calls it poutine, right? But apparently, I learned this in college. Apparently, we're saying it wrong. We sound like a bunch of dumbass Southerners calling it poutine. Apparently, it's poutine. But I don't know. Whatever. I still call it poutine. And you know what? Now that you say that, I haven't had poutine in at least probably over a year.
Really?
Oh man, it's so good. But there's this place up in so there's this town where I went to college called Olds, Alberta. It's north of Calgary, and they got this restaurant there called Grouchy Daddy's, and they have this drunken mushroom poutine, and it's like a wine-based gravy with mushrooms and the cheese curds in there, like a dancing orgy of yum in your mouth.
That sounds awesome. I'd almost guarantee I would throw that up for whatever reason. But they're sauteed. They're sauteed mushrooms. It's not like a cream of mushroom soup or anything like that.
No. It's good.
Okay.
They know what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, because there's I like mushrooms, and I like, you know, those like casseroles with cream of mushroom soup. But for whatever reason, it just, like, my stomach does not like it, and I love the taste of it, but I'll almost every time I'll throw it up. I don't know why.
Oh man, that sucks. It's so good.
Yeah. But I would, you know, it'd be worth it. I'd try that. I like good poutine. And I don't know
if I've ever had. Try.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I've ever had like a good authentic poutine. I've had some before, but you know, I've never been to like a Canadian restaurant. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's even poutineries up here where like that's all they serve is fucking poutine.
I love that that's a word, a poutineries.
Yeah. I'm not even shitting you. We'll just skate down there, you know, fucking park our moose outside and fucking hit the poutinery.
Fuck the poutinery. That's the Canadian equivalent to a carniceria. Yeah, I love it. Exactly. Poutinery. Maybe that'll be the name of this episode, is just poutinery.
Poutineries. Fuck yeah.
Oh shit. Well, is COVID over there? Is it done up there, or are they still, the government still hanging in?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, of course, the World Economic Forum dumb fucks are still trying to threaten everybody with, their restrictions could come back, even though everybody's sick and tired of them. I think even the liberals are like, nah, we're not going to mask or put face diapers on anymore. Like, it's just, mostly it's done. Like, you're not being asked for, your proof of your vaccination status or whatever anymore. You're not having to wear masks inside anymore. I'll still see older people wearing some masks, in the Walmart or in wherever, but other than that, it's pretty toned down now. How about you guys?
It's kind of the same way here. Like, of course, in rural, I'm sure rural Canada was kind of the same way as rural America, where like there's nobody really paid much attention to that shit especially after the 2 weeks that they claimed, 2 weeks to stop the spread.
Exactly.
After that 2 weeks, everybody who was kind of rational thinking, and stayed rational thinking, were like, hey, I think we're good. Like, I didn't mind the whole masking thing in airplanes and stuff. Like, it was annoying, don't get me wrong, I didn't like it, but also I'm like, I could see a point here. Like, probably not going to do a lot, but still, we're crammed in here pretty tight, and it is, not that it's it wasn't near the deadly strain of it wasn't the end of the world like they made it out to be, but still, you're like, also I'd rather not get it from somebody else, So it's like, it made sense at points, and but now it seems like we're finally back to like before pandemic, when like when avian flu or whatever was going around.
Yeah,
the people that were actually affected the most by it kind of took care. Like, so now, like, it makes sense seeing old people and fat people with masks on, because they're the people that are the most affected by it, and everybody else just going about their lives. Like, that makes sense. That's kind of how it should be.
Yeah. And I mean, I had it a couple times, and it wasn't any different than any other cold I had my entire life. Like,
same here.
It wasn't nothing. Yeah.
Other than losing my smell, like, everything else was just like, it was very,
You
very
lost
mild.
your smell?
Yeah, for a couple months. It was weird. It was so weird. I was like dicing up onions, and my eyes were just like rolling tears, and I could not smell a damn thing. Couldn't smell a damn thing. I stuck my head in my smoker one time. Like, I had it just rolling. I had cedar, cherry, and apple all in my smoker. Oof. And I just stuck my face in there. I opened the smoke box and stuck my face in there for a good 5 seconds, and same thing. Still had tears rolling down my face. Couldn't smell a goddamn thing.
Nothing. What a letdown!
Weird.
Wow.
It was so weird, but like, I could taste just fine. I never did lose taste, but it was the smell. It was the strangest thing. I don't know. Thanks a lot, China and Fauci. I never would have had that experience without you.
Yeah, good old Fauci out.
What a guy! What a fucking guy! Yeah. So I don't know. It seems like the federal government and a couple liberal states are still they're still holding on to those last vestiges of power that they were able to assume over the lockdown shit. And then
I think for the most part, everybody's fucking done with it.
I think so too.
They're sick of it, no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. How long you think this old Trudeau fella is going to be in power up there? Is he ever going to leave?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't been taken out yet.
Yeah, it seems like nobody likes him. I mean, like, I know you got your liberals that like him, but like, I know like half of Canada
I know a lot of
hates
liberals
him.
that even don't like him. Yeah.
And his, like, people talk shit on him on a world stage all the time, like other world leaders and stuff. Like, he's not very well liked.
He's a fucking goof. Yeah.
He's an idiot. Like, he is an absolute just fucking moron from what I can tell,
Honestly, I think it's kind of the similar situation with the Biden thing. Like, my gut tells me he didn't get in there. He wasn't, truthfully voted in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, when it comes down to the actual ballots, I don't buy the stop the steal stuff. I've not seen anything convincing for me. You know, like, but when it comes down
with
to
all the mail-in ballot bullshit.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, if they're not going to repeal it, the Republicans are going to have to get real crafty on the ballot harvesting. They're going to have to from what I'm hearing from them is a lot of bitching about the rules and not doing anything to actually win.
Yeah.
But on the other end of things where, like, the social media narrative, the media narrative, and just like the whole psyop that they used. Oh yeah, if you wanna,
stupid.
And that they definitely stole an election in that point of view. Like, and I say stole it, but they manipulated it a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so yeah, but I think it's kind of the problem with boomers. They see the problem of the election and they go to the ballots and like, they didn't have to change a single ballot, dude. They didn't have to change a damn one of them. They just they suppressed what people could see and demonized everybody else. And and it worked.
Yeah, but everybody else thinks that just a simple election is going to change things.
Nah,
change
that's
shit needs to actually change, and that goes beyond an election.
Yeah, and we'll save that for the Patreon bonus segment. So that's we talk too much about that, we'll end up on a list we don't need to be on.
Right? Yeah, well, on the hit list.
yeah, and we saw up there in Canada, if they really don't like you, they don't have to kill you. They just shut off your bank account.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
seize all your shit and then just like, oh, sorry, nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, that's why you need to use cash, folks. Keep cash on hand.
Cash on hand is good, and learn how to barter too. That's another thing. Learn how to barter.
Trade
good trade gear is good.
Yeah,
yeah. It's and if you want to go on like the more on the lefty socialist side of things, use your labor too. Labor's worth something.
Fuck yeah. These things, these little 10 things, they'll earn you a lot of money in your time.
What's the union? You guys are pretty heavily unionized up in Canada, aren't? In like most of your industries.
Honestly, I think a fair bit of them, but I have no idea, man. I've never worked in a union.
Me neither. I've got I need to.
By the way, check it out. Natty Daddies.
Natty Daddy, I like it, dude.
Yeah. We were just down in Great Falls, so I picked up some Natty Daddies.
8%.
8%, boy.
Nice.
I'll cheers you that, Matt.
Cheers.
Let's go.
I still got the old buckskins, but
oh, right on.
I like it.
I had some buddies over picking up a hat just now, and they brought some buckskins over, and we finished them off. So now I'm on to the Natty Daddies.
Nice. My boss showed up, or I showed up one day, and he had 7 bottles of Crown from different vendors that showed up for holiday presents. So I ended up with a little bit of free Crown. Can't complain about that.
That's never a bad thing. Free's my favorite word. I'm half Dutch. So
yeah, there you go. You were you've been banging out some hats here lately, man. It seems like
doing my best. I'm right in the middle of finishing. What's this? Number 259.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been fun, man. I've had a lot of support from actually you Americans.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are literally saving like 30% with our exchange rate right now. It's ridiculous. We're at like 70 cents to the dollar. So it's been great. A lot of local support, international support. I just sent a hat to Norway this week, which was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Norway.
That was the first time I sent to Norway.
How did they find you?
Instagram. Yeah.
No shit.
No
Sampson
shit.
with a P.
Sampson with a P. Yes, man. Yes, sir. I really accredit social media to a lot of my success with this hat thing, because most of my orders are actually people I've never even met. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, most of the people that listen to this show are people I've never met either. Like,
there you go.
There's a lot of my buddies that have listened to an episode or two, and it's like, yeah, that's cool. He's doing something, and they never listen again. But yeah,
Right.
Social media is, I understand there's a lot of bad things that come with it, but man, it's treated me pretty good. I can't complain a whole lot.
Yeah, there's definitely some heavy pros and some heavy cons too, but it's been awesome. Like even your podcast here, I'll throw Burnin Daylight on in the hat shop and just go to work, and yeah.
I like it.
Good. Yeah.
It's awesome. How's because you were kind of, and maybe it was somebody else I talked to. I think it was either you or Lisa Robinson. I was asking about, and she was. I think maybe it was Lisa that said she was really backed up on felt for a while. How's it looking up your way?
Yeah, it's tough getting felt right now. The market's pretty slim, and so there's a lot of demand and very little supply. So you can imagine what that's doing to prices right now too.
Oh yeah. Well, doesn't a lot of those felts come from Russia, don't they?
No. So there is a manufacturer down in Tennessee.
Okay.
And they're probably the biggest one in the States. There's another one in Portugal. There's one in the Czech Republic. There's a few all over, but I really do like the ones in Tennessee, but they got new management. They quit taking new customers. And so it's, being a smaller time hat maker, it's tough because the bigger guys are the ones eating up all their orders and really, feeding them the cash for their numbers on their felts. And so when, I just say like, hey, I'll need a dozen of this and 6 of these and 3 of these, and they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, so it's definitely tough to get felt, like, especially with our exchange rate right now. Like my supplier, he's in the States, and so with our exchange rate plus shipping, like, a lot of people don't realize a good 30 to 40% of my price, like my price of a hat that I fork over to the customer, is actually my cost in the felt body alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So the beaver market is really tough right now. And it's weird because it's like, it's weekly. The beaver market's just like a roller coaster for felt. So I don't know. I'm not much of a trapper myself, so I don't know the ins and outs of actually the raw goods, but the guy I day work for, he is. So I get a little bit of insight from him. So
yeah. My father-in-law, he used to trap a lot, and he does. He's got a couple traps out this year, but like he used to be like Dan Hartman style, where he'd go out for the winter, and like he'd just trap, just run miles and miles and miles of traps, and I don't know. It's crazy. It's such a kind of an antiquated profession, but when you stop and think about it, you're like, man, we use a lot of pelts. And we don't even realize it. Same way with like the like the cow hides. There's a lot of guys that want them for the rawhide and whatever, but like there's a lot of people who just throw out a hide when you have a beef butchered, and you're like, man, it's a lot of money you just throw away.
Yeah.
And
that's not only that, but even just raw, but even like you look around, if you're ever in the city, in wintertime, there's always people wearing the fur felt kind of parkas or fur felt or toques or whatever. People don't realize, like, a lot of that's coyote.
Yeah it is. And well, I mean, because for all the technological advances we use, like natural fibers still wicks moisture the best and insulates the best. It just so whether it's coyote or wool or whatever it is, like that natural fiber that's where it's at. I mean, like a good pair of wool socks is like you can't live very far north without a good pair of wool socks.
Dang right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's wild, but so I guess business has been pretty good for you though here.
Been steady. I'm full-time making hats since last October, like October 2020. I guess it'd be one.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's 2023 already. Yeah, so a little over a year. I've been doing the hat thing full time, along with just day trash work.
Hell yeah.
One of my neighbors, he lives just 4 miles from me. I'll do a bunch of day work for him, looking after his herd, and then kind of just whoever calls here and there too. But mostly it's hats, and it's been really good. Keeps my head above water. Yeah, it helps that I'm tall. For that. So.
Yeah, that works. No, that's awesome, man. I know that shit's got to be kind of stressful at times if you ain't got any orders coming in, but that's also got to be.
It was weird, like totally November. I was caught up for the first time ever, and it was strange. Like I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, okay, now what the fuck do I do? Like. Hey guys, I'm over here,
Yeah. But also like that's still awesome. Like you kind of control your own destiny too. That's cool.
It's really good, man. I've always, I never thought I'd work for myself, but I always kind of had a little bit of an itch to. I was always the guy that had to be given a job. Like I've roughnecked on the oil rigs. I'm a heavy duty mechanic by trade. I've got my agribusiness degree and worked numerous different positions. And then I just worked lots of different farms and ranches, and I was kind of like, I think the times now, like the hat thing finally picked up far enough and deep enough where it was like, okay, this is actually viable as a business endeavor, and so it was like. Now or never. So went with it, and it's been working out really good since. And my favorite part is I don't set an alarm anymore.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll wake up and just, that's the thing about it, is I don't have to go to work for 8 and then close down shop at 5, right? Like I'll work as long as I want to. Most nights I'm up till 10 or 11 at night working on hats. And it's sweet. So if I have to go to town, at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, I just go. I don't need to ask anybody or ask for time off. Just set my own schedule. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, that's I'm not quite there yet, but I'm about as close as you can be and still be employed by somebody else. Like
yeah. Are you still working that feed yard?
Yes, sir. Yeah, until I can podcast full time and make the same amount of money, I'm at this feedlot. They treat me really good, and it's cool. Man, I don't enjoy working with Holsteins per se, but they allow me to work a pretty sweet gig, so I tolerate them just fine.
I gotta say, Holsteins are probably the only animal that was up there with the dodo bird.
Oh, they're so dumb. They're so fucking dumb. It continually amazes me how dumb they are.
Yeah. Like, how are they even still surviving?
I know, and it's too bad that Gilbert Gottfried died, because I'm 100% honest. If I make enough money, I will buy some gnarly fucking grazing permit, where you have a lot of predators but a lot of like belly deep grass, either whether it's Montana or somewhere in that Yellowstone region, or if it's like I don't know I don't care how much it costs. If I got enough money, I'm just gonna turn out like 2 or 3 loads of Holsteins and just watch it happen. Just see. Run them like
one load at a time.
Yeah, just run them like they're Angus. Turn out bulls when you have to turn out bulls, and just see what happens to these Holsteins.
Holstein is
I don't
extinct, attributed to Matt McKinley.
and I just want to see what happens. Like, do they get really mauled by the predators? Like, do the do the bears and the lions take a bunch of them out, or are they so curious?
Lions and tigers
Yeah.
and bears. Yeah, absolutely. That
They
wouldn't take
might
long.
be just too curious and scare off all the predators. I don't know.
That's just it too. Yeah. Do the predators just sit back and scratch their head, be like, the fuck?
Yeah, I know. And then you get one of those goofy fuckers beller and then come running straight at you, and they're
and too dumb
that
to
lion's
stop.
got to be
They
like,
run
what the
right
fuck,
into you.
dude?
Yeah. Like I don't know how many times I was working on this feed yard up in Tilly, Alberta for a while, and we had a handful of pens of Holsteins. I remember I brought this new horse that I bought off the McIntyre Ranch, and he had only ever seen Hereford cattle his whole life, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And it was day one of his day on payroll, and we get into this one pen, and I'm just doing my thing, but not thinking like processing like maybe he's never seen Holstein before. I didn't think that through, and I just get into this one pen that's neighboring a Holstein pen, and he kind of gets a third the way in there. We're just trotting around. He kind of like looks over, and I see him take a double take, and like we were 10 feet over in like a snap of a finger, and he's just just go, like, what the fuck are those aliens? Yeah.
It's always funny.
Scared the shit out of him.
the first reaction to a Holstein from a horse, it's always different, but it's just varying shades of what the fuck.
There's always the
oh yeah, and some of them freak out more than the others, but it's I enjoy watching it. It's
funny.
Fucking Holsteins.
Yeah, fucking Holsteins is right. Fucking Holstein. Yeah, I had an uncle that ran a magpie feedlot for a while outside of Picture Butte. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Holsteins. Not my thing.
I'm not a fan, but like I said, it's a pretty sweet gig I got here, and Holsteins kind of keep it running. We get plenty of beef cattle, but yeah, it's
not bad eating. I'll give them that. Holstein cattle are not bad eating. Yeah.
Not at all. They'll make a good steak for sure.
Yeah,
but they're just so dumb. I mean, so I came in the other morning running bunks, and typically you don't have to, like, the way we, especially with the Holsteins, because they're limit fed. We're not pushing them very hard. They're only they're gaining it's like a pound and a half a day, a little over that. Not pushing them hard at all. And so they clean up real easy. And if you're got cattle, Holstein heifers leaving feed, you're way over the top of them. You need to cut them back.
Yeah.
So but then all this weather hit, and we got a bunch of rain and snow, and so they were leaving feed. So I came in early to read bunks, and there's this heifer laying down in the bunk, and it's a metal bunk, so oil field pipeline cut in half and then welded in the bunk lines, and
sure.
You're like 12-inch pipe, I guess. So she's laying in there on her brisket, like not on her side or anything. She's sitting up watching me read bunks, and so I get out, try to get her moving. She doesn't move at all. Like, I'm kicking her in the face and she's not doing anything. I'm pulling on her tail, and then she just bellers. And so I was like, all right, fine, whatever. I'll come back later with the horse and pull you out.
Yeah.
I swing back by after they feed, and because it's pretty tough to get out before like 10:30 in the morning, because it's freezing. Like, everything thaws out in the afternoon, turns into real thick soupy mud, and then freezes real hard at night. And
Mhm.
you know how it goes. It's just fucking treacherous on a horse.
Yeah.
And so I've been following behind the feed trucks as they feed, and then like writing down cattle I need to go pull, and then coming back in the afternoon when when I don't have to worry about crippling a horse. So they feed this pen, come back, and that heifer is out of the bunk. She's standing, but she's still got her 2 front feet in the bunk for whatever reason. I don't know. But she's just standing there like that, eating out of the bunk. And so I get out, try to shoo her over, and no, she jumps back into the bunk and proceeds to fall down on her side. It's like, fuck
Mhm.
you. I'm leave. I don't care. I'm not trying anymore. Fuck you. I'll
Yeah.
come back with. I mean it this time. I'm coming back with a horse. And then by the time I came back with a horse, she was already out. I don't know what happened. She rolled over into the pen or what the fuck. I don't know. But it's like the dumbest.
There's never a dull moment with them.
No, they'll make things way harder than they need to. Like if you don't chain your gate back and there's just like a little crack, they'll go in that crack every time. It seems like, you know, they're bred to go into a milking parlor. So
Absolutely, they're like the goats of the bovine world.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're cows, but not really.
Yeah. They're like Dalmatian cows.
Yeah, they're kind of like a dog. A goat's that's a good comparison. They're very much
because
like
goats
a
are
goat.
dumb. Yeah.
And also they're very playful, like a goat too. Like
goats. They're basically the goats of the bovine world.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah, that's.
I just thought of that too, actually.
They're dumb. Yeah, maybe we'll make that a shirt. Just have a Holstein cow instead of the goats.
I think those would sell out.
Probably would.
Millionaires.
Trademark. I think that's how that works.
Yeah, exactly. Copyright.
Yeah, copyright.
No.
Oh shit. Are you still doing a lot of long range shooting?
Getting into it a little more and more. So I inherited all my uncle's old reloading gear, so I'm gonna start doing a lot of my own load development. And nice. I'm shooting 300 PRC. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun round to shoot. You can stretch it out pretty far. My goal is to group at 2 miles. With this rifle, I'm shooting a Bergara B14 HMR. Chambered in 300 PRC. It's fun. Yeah, it's challenging. It's not cheap though. Like it's definitely
not.
It's definitely a rabbit hole.
What's the farthest you've put a group out?
1,500 meters so far. Like any kind of respectable. So I'm looking to double that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
the problem is
it's a long ways out there though.
Yeah, with the glass I have, like right now I've accumulated, I got 127 MOA on my rifle total. And so I will need a prism for shooting out to 3 miles, which basically kind of like reflects and almost multiplies your glass. It's Night Force makes one. Just you mount it in front of your scope and it almost magnifies a little more. Yeah. And because it is a 30 caliber round, right? So sure, they're long, a ballistic tip with a bow tail bullet, but it's you can only pack 225, 230 grain into the 300 PRC before you're kind of maxed out. So and then you can get up into the 338s, 416s and stuff like that, and then be comfortable. You can kind of plank it 1.5 miles, 2 miles, but it's still stretching out there. So it's a lot of fun. It's challenging, especially doing my own load development now. I've been learning from a lot of buddies of mine now that I'm like, it's just another thing that you can just, because it is very important. to be precise, right?
Mhm.
You know, you don't want to be blowing out primers and blowing shit up. So it's just another thing where you have to put every other worry aside. You sit down, focus on the task at hand, and just something you can do in the evenings to kind of calm your mind and hopefully save a little bit of money with
Well, and
you know, as opposed to buying
you
factory
also,
ammunition.
yeah, we also realize why the good ammunition costs way more too.
It's absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, match grade ammunition is not cheap. Yeah. But it sure is a lot of fun. Yeah, and there's a lot of great people involved in the shooting world too. So it's cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. How is all the gun shit going up in Canada? I've heard
Iffy right now.
Yeah, didn't they?
Yeah.
What was the last one like to outlaw handguns essentially?
Yeah, they banned the sale and resale of handguns. Like you cannot buy a pistol in Canada anymore. It's as far as Sockboy is concerned for as long as he's in house.
Yeah.
It baffles me, to be honest. It's ridiculous. And then now they're trying with this other bill, they're trying to sneak under the radar to try and outlaw, like ban and basically make semi-automatic weapons prohibited, to totally restrict semi-autos, which restricts like not only your fowl hunters, your duck hunters, like target shooters. Like it's nuts why they're trying to disarm their population, right? And so it's raised a lot of flags, and a lot of people have lost a lot of confidence in the liberal agenda.
Well, that's good.
Gun sales have been through the roof, I'll tell you that.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm like I always picture, from what I understand, like Western Canada is just like Western US, like where all those East Coast and like the coasties, like they set all the policies, and that they're all the crazy fucking liberals, and then there's just like a lot of people in the middle. It's like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah, we just want to be left alone. Go to hell.
Yeah. It's well, it of course, the media on all the way around, like they just have to sensationalize everything, and so like they made it sound like it was like not far away from the Mounties going door to door to round up guns, which I guess, I mean, the first
that would be the day, man. That would be the fucking day.
and it's one of those things where like you're like, that'll never happen, but like the more and more you pass bills like that, they're like, that's what has to happen if they want to disarm people. And
it's never gonna happen.
No,
because it's never gonna happen. Because first of all, most of your boys in the army, most of your boys in the military, where did they grow up? They grew up in small town Alberta or Saskatchewan or Manitoba or wherever in Canada. They grew up in a small town.
Or they grew up in the inner city, and they got in trouble early on, and they know just how important guns are.
Exactly. And stay strapped or get clapped. And exactly, most of these guys, they grew up knowing the importance of firearms, and especially back when we talked about our last interview with this border crossing thing, a lot of them guys were not against what we were doing. They were like, we're actually like, we agree with you, the stand you guys are taking. This is just our job. But if it came down to something that extreme, I guarantee you most of the military would refuse to go door to door collecting. These guys are not commies. And I know, as much as Justin Trudeau thinks that he can control every if and but what happens in Canada, but it's not going to be long before he realizes that he doesn't have as much power as he thinks he has.
Yeah.
People are starting to get really pissed off, and I think it's only going to last so long.
See, this is where I come from, the point of American privilege, where like I know in the long run, like we might get a 9/11 here and there, but there ain't anybody fucking invading us. I guarantee you that.
Man, there's a rifle behind every blade of grass in America.
Yeah, and before you ever even think about getting to those blades of grass, you got to get past the Navy, and then you got to get past our air defense system. You got to get past our Air Force, all of which are the best in the world by a long shot. I ain't worried about that. It's but I think the more and more the world goes to war, and the more and more like we're pretty good at toppling governments. Like, why don't we topple Trudeau? You know, like
you guys can have us. Like, I'll gladly be a part of the state. I spend enough time in the States as it is.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
can I just honorary,
I don't think we would have much of an insurgency if we went to war with Canada and Mexico and just like took over the governments, and by government you like we kick out Trudeau and then kill all the cartels.
Yeah,
I don't think
that would be that would actually be interesting to watch.
The
cartels.
I'm old enough now that I'm not gonna have to go worry about going fighting that shit. So it would be interesting to watch. I think we could take them out really quickly. Like really,
like my
really
dad's
quickly.
Stronger than your dad. My dad can kick your dad's ass.
Right. Man, I think we could wipe out most of the cartel within like a couple days. You know, if they really wanted to, I think.
It'd take some time, but yeah.
The thing about those cartel guys is they're not really all that concerned about like keeping a low profile. You know, like they kind of, it's a machismo culture, so like they kind of want to be out in the open. They let people know.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes and no. I mean that's part of it is because those are the only ones that you see, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know
there is a lot more that stay under the radar.
See, that's I guess the better question is like, who does the CIA fund? The Mexican government?
Oh man, we are not getting down the rabbit hole.
But who would you fund? What would you be better off funding the cartel or funding
the better question is who is funding the CIA? That's the better
too.
Question.
And see that's what'll get you killed. So we'll just stay with.
We're not going down this rabbit.
Yeah, I don't want to be Epstein.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Matt McKinley committed suicide.
Yeah, I just like, man, rather than throwing all this money at Ukraine, like I understand they, it kind of sucks for Ukraine.
The biggest money laundering in the face of the world stage.
I know
ever of the world.
And just to be clear, like your average Ukrainian, citizen is getting butt fucked every which way. Like they've got like, I really feel bad for them. But also, if we're gonna go to war, why don't we do it somewhere here close to home where it really makes sense? Like
do it for real.
let's put people like your regular normal Canadians in charge of Canada, and like. Maybe I don't know what you do with Mexico.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know what you do with Mexico, but we could figure something out,
Mm-hmm.
And like, let Ukraine and Europe deal with their own bullshit. Fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what a time to be alive, huh?
It's wild. Like, it's fascinating to watch, but also like, you don't want to you almost don't want to pay too much attention because then you're just like fucking paranoid about like what is going to
Well,
happen
that's just
next.
it. Yeah, it's like it's a fine line, like a razor thin ice of just,
Yeah.
you know, overthinking, which I'm bad for as it is.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. It's the whole world is crazy right now.
Yeah. I just, one thing is for sure, like, as crazy as Canada is right now, as crazy as Mexico and crazy as like the United States is, like we're pretty lucky. Like we got oceans between us and anybody else, and that's that's kind of a good thing.
Well,
and
yes and no. I mean, can't like you guys, the U.S. Alaska is not.
Yeah.
I think it's only like 48 kilometers from Russia.
Something like that,
which is like, what, 30 miles?
Something like that. But also, like, it's really hard to do anything up in that part of the world. And we saw how we're seeing in real time how well Russia's doing against Ukraine with our weapons. But I'm not that worried about Russia. Tell you the truth. Not that worried.
My opinion, man, is just bring it on. Like, cut the bullshit. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
People are sick of living on their toes and walking on eggshells. Like, get it done with. Let's just move on.
The thing is, it's like it's not regular people like me and you that are like, that's who's gonna do the fighting, but the regular people are just like, man, what I don't care. I don't care about, this asshole in Russia picking on this fucking Nazi sympathizer asshole in Ukraine. I don't care about either one of them. Why the fuck is my money going over to that? Why?
Investments.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. But like, what? I'm fine with my money like going somewhere for a purpose. So I'm like, take care of the fucking border. Get Canada's, house in order. Like, grab that little fucker and just smack him across the face and like, hey, you're supposed to be a fucking democracy here.
Pistol whip that some bitch.
Yeah.
No, it's all about ROI into the big dog's pockets.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Well, like I said, I'm buying Lockheed Martin, I'm buying Raytheon, and I'm buying Northrop Grumman. They're going to make a lot of money over the next decade, probably. A lot of fucking money. And if the fucking assholes at the top are going to make money, I'm just going to see where they're invested in, because that's where I'm going to invest.
There you go.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
em.
Actually, that's a good plan. I might have to. I'll text you after about this.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do it on Signal. That way, it's a little less traceable.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's wild how these it's crazy, particularly after World War II, how they just everybody wanted to spy on everybody. and now like there's like all of our technology was essentially developed by spies. Like all the coolest shit
man.
Yeah. All of our coolest shit was designed to potentially be able to see somebody naked without them seeing us. Like it was all spy shit.
Yeah, all invented by dudes.
Yeah, exactly. The only lady spies that we hear about were whores.
Yeah. Yeah, but a man doing the same thing. He's a master key, not a whore.
Yeah, exactly. He's 007, motherfucker.
Right.
You're just a whore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What that except for maybe for Jiz Lane. She might have been the only like true OG woman spy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm pedophile. I mean spy. Yeah, right.
Yeah. She's not dead, right? She hasn't killed herself
I
yet?
don't know. Not yet.
She knows some shit. Like,
it's all been deleted.
Yeah. You know, if that's the thing. If they killed her, if they killed Epstein and they're keeping her alive after she's been convicted.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows some shit, and
she knows some stuff.
She must have a kill switch. I think she's got a kill switch.
Yeah. What a world! Are you going for another beer?
Yes, sir. You need one?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna rip up and grab another one too.
Nice. Well, we'll call that for the main episode, and we'll come back for a little bonus for Patreon. So I'm gonna go take a look. Sampson Moss, Sampson with a P on Instagram. Prairie Wind Hat Works makes some excellent stuff, as you can see there in the background. But go check him out. And where else do they find you on social media?
So I'm on Facebook, Prairie Wind Hat Works, and then on Instagram, Sampson with a P. There's a bunch of underscores in there. But I've also got a website up and rocking now, prairiewindhatworks.com. My good buddy El Mule, shout out. He designed the website for me. He's the one that made that really cool video for me about a year and a half ago. Just showing the ins and outs of the hat shop with the music going in the background. I wrote a little poem for it too. So same guy. And so I got a website up and rocking now, and email too is just prairiewindhatworks@yahoo.com.
Awesome. Well, go check out his stuff. I'm gonna go take a leak, and we'll come back and we'll do a little bonus episode bonus segment for the Patreon folks. So Sampson with a P, Prairie Wind Hat Works. Appreciate the shit out of you, man. And
thank you
guys.
guys.
Your ass. We're burning daylight.
We're burning daylight.
Boom.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Just together, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.